Good morning, VIPs. It's Wednesday, January 4th. We have a very special show today. We're going to do our segment till about 9:15, and then at 9:15, we have another pro trader joining us of Vegas. We're going to bounce some ideas off of her, and she'll give us her best ideas for the day as well. So I'm going to have a little problem with charts today because the TD app has some issues. Let's see if they've worked them out yet. Nope, Tuesday data is not showing. We're going right from Friday to Wednesday. So it's going to be pretty hard to give analysis here. Although, let me just see here on the, if they fix that. No. Okay, so we have problems. Some of the charts have data from yesterday, but most don't. Really weird. Anyway, we can see the QQQ SPY is up today. Again, TLT. You know, I'm thinking, I've been hearing a lot of analysis about TLT on different Twitter spaces I've been on, and it's making sense to me that TLT can be a good play this year. Last year was a very unusual year for bonds. Went down with stocks because of inflation. That was very unusual. This year, with the focus shifting to worry about recession and the economy, I think TLT will go back to its usual role of being some sort of a hedge against the market. So TLT is something considering adding to our portfolio. Another thing, gold. I've been watching gold and hearing a lot about it. You know, interesting with the thing with gold is, expectations for interest rates may be going down longer term. But the problem is, if the inflation rate is higher than the interest rate, right, that's really, really good for gold. And I think that's what's driving the price action here for gold. So two things I'm looking at now, TLT and gold as things I may want to add to the portfolio. And by the way, today, finally now, TLT and UUP acting like it should. TLT up, UUP down. So that price action makes more sense. QQQ and SPY, I noted this yesterday, very, very stable, even though Apple dropped 4% yesterday. So, interesting in terms of where the market's going and targets for QQQ and SPY. I'm not really looking at that anymore. I'm really focused on, as far as downside for the market, on Apple. Apple had less of an impact on QQQ than I thought. So as far as a hedge, I'm moving more towards AAPD, which is single short the AAPL Apple. We're missing data here from yesterday, but I really think this is headed to the 200-week moving average at 115, 114 or so. This is just one of the ugliest charts I've ever seen. Don't really see too much support here. To me, a drop looks fairly imminent to that 200-week moving average, but crazier things have happened. You never really know. On the show last night, on the Wealth Financial Spaces, which I participate on, it's a weekly competition every week. I had wanted to pick short Apple, long Meta, but the problem is we only get 2 picks. Meta had relative strength yesterday. Again, we're missing Tuesday's data, but Meta broke out of some resistance area, and always like to see what's market down day like we had yesterday. And on top of that, following through this idea of rotating capitulation. So basically saying, you know what, maybe I shouldn't care so much about QQQ anymore. And the idea that Apple can take QQQ and all the big tech down with it. I think we've really seen rotating capitulations, whether it's Netflix, which I talked about yesterday, Netflix and Meta, and even some growth stocks like GLBE clearly had capitulation in May. So this is more of the story for me now. It's seeing money rotating, and maybe Apple crashing won't take everything down. So those ideas I had, short Apple, long Meta. But for the show last night, I only was limited to 2. So because I wanted to put DRIO in there. So we'll talk about DRIO in a second. I wanted to get DRIO in there, which and another panelist ended up choosing long Meta. So that's great. So we still got the long Meta in there for the picks. I'll talk about DRIO in a second, but those are 2 ideas for you in a swing perspective. Microsoft, I want to point that out because that's the other general which hasn't fallen yet. And this morning it's falling. Now, the only catalyst I've seen here is a downgrade, which is showing here. UBS downgrades to neutral, lowers price target to 250. Now, this is quite a move for that. So now they're coming for Microsoft. Interesting thing is Microsoft, you think would be a little more shielded. Apple maybe would be hit first because of lower consumer discretionary spending. I think Microsoft, you really need to get into the guts of a recession and companies scaling back, small businesses scaling back in terms of Microsoft. Now, I knew they have some gaming exposure and other things and search as well. But as far as their software products is mostly for businesses, small and large businesses. So, but anyway, Microsoft now turning over. These are the two that haven't really fell yet. Apple and Microsoft. That's a key level broke here. 235. Maybe there's 225 support, and then the 52 2-week moving average. So now, for the first time, I'm bringing up Microsoft to you guys in terms of another general that needs to fall. So Apple, Microsoft, keep track of those. Tesla, crazy volatile, very hard to figure out where the bottom is going to be on this. Again, we're missing a day of data here. Unfortunately, the TD app is a bottom in. I don't know. I was thinking possibility it was in 120, but it could go all the way down to 65, the pre-COVID high, as a possibility. I did a little poll on Twitter, got some responses from our StoryTrading account. If you're not following us there, make sure to follow us at StoryTrading on Twitter in terms of where do you think the low will be in Tesla. And we got a bunch of votes for $91, which I like. If you zoom into this chart, you actually see there's some support here at 91 or low 90s. Yeah, it's right there. You see that? See, it's this pullback. They had that big jump and then a pullback and then it launched again right there, right? So I like that level here at about 91 as a prediction, but you never really know at this point. Low somewhere between 65 and 120. Well, no, 65 and 105. 120 is no longer low. So that's the story of Tesla. Now, going to our individual stocks. Clearfield, my second largest pick, man. $95, up 4.5% with the Cohen coming in, initiating outperform with $141 price target. They have earnings as well in a few weeks, January 25th, in about 3 weeks earnings. So this is one I'm looking for. Hopefully a blowout and a swing move here to the 120s to 130s here in just a few weeks on Clearfield. As far as like an entry today, that's tough, right? It's tough to buy the gap, so I'm not looking to do that. I'll be monitoring it, and if it pulls back sharply, maybe with this Cohen as a catalyst, you can say the bottom's in. That'll be great. Again, we're missing a day of data over here, although you could see it when we go to the 1 and 3 month chart. $91.38 was the close. So is the bottom in? I hope so. Possible. The ultimate bottom here I thought was going to be about 88.87 right there at that 200-week moving average. In the case of a big market crash, that was the line in the sand over there, which I don't think it would have breached. So Clearfield, great news. SMR, want to point out some news on SMR. This has pulled back significantly. This is that nuclear energy company building these small modular reactors. That's why you get the ticker symbol SMR, name of the company's NuScale. In any case, some news out there, and there hasn't been news in a while. So maybe that news can be a spark, a catalyst to get this thing back moving towards the upside. So that's actually something I may be interested in because I like SMR and it hasn't had a catalyst and the stock's pulled back. The RSI is relatively low over here in the 40s. So SMR could be a good pickup for a swing. QIPT, want to point out there was some news yesterday. I don't think I own this. If I do, it's a very small amount. We had that presentation update from Aaron Warwick recently. You can go look at that interview on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/StoryTrading. There was significant news yesterday, a major acquisition for $80 million, getting $60 million in revenue and $13 million adjusted EBITDA. I don't know. I don't love companies that grow through acquisition, but people who are into the fundamentals tell me it's cheap. So you can take a look at QIPT. I don't really have a recommendation either way on what the price action will do on QIPT today. A bunch of catalysts coming soon. Today, is it today? Yes, it's today after the close. We have RELL earnings, right? And we do our Zoom every week at 4:30 p.m. So we can talk about RELL earnings and maybe we'll live stream the call. Now, I don't love the technicals here, the 20 crossing below the 50, but look at this. The PE is 13.79, and this is a fairly recession resistant, if not a recession proof stock, possibly. So I'm kind of thinking, we'll have to see. I'm going to put RELL down here. I might take a risk on RELL and buy some before earnings because I'm not sure there are any signs. And you know what? During the day today, maybe I'll read the transcript from last quarter to see if they were hinting at any signs of a slowdown. But I'm not sure that there is. My guess is they weren't. And my guess is earnings are going to be great. And we have a low PE. So possibly this will take off again, and possibly I may be jumping into RELL for a risk and holding through that binary event of earnings tonight. The other thing to be aware of, CTMX, our swing play, one of 4 swing plays we've been talking about, with a target of 170. The event is tomorrow. The data is tomorrow after the close, together with a conference call. I mean, if I had to bet, I'd say it's probably going to be good data because of that recent investment by Regeneron and the fact that they proactively went out there and said they're also going to have a conference call together with this, with the data release. But the way to really play these biotechs is to play the run-ups. Like, that's why we gave you the idea off the 50 DMA a few days ago with the target up there. So what I might do is sell 50 to 60%, maybe 70%, and hold some in case the data is good. So that's what I may be doing with CTMX. Air has earnings tomorrow after the close. I actually did sell some of my core yesterday. I don't like the technicals here. I don't have a good feeling on earnings based on my conversation with Gain after the last press release. Not on earnings, meaning I don't think there will be anything in this earnings report. Certainly, the EPS is not going to be able to justify the current price. It's all about the future. And I don't think there's going to be anything new in there that's going to spark a big move tomorrow in terms of the future, because we already got that big deal we're waiting for. Came out a few weeks ago, and the stocks reacted poorly to it. So actually sold off some. And again, I had talked to Gain after that news came out, just to say, hey, is this like the same impact to your company as when you got the first major silicon carbide semiconductor supplier? Can we expect like a ton of press releases over the next 2 months? And he said, no, I can't. I don't really have visibility into that. We have to wait and see what the order flow is going to look like. So if that's what he was telling other analysts as well, that could explain why the stock has been going down since that news came out that everyone's been waiting for. So I don't have a great feeling on Air, and I did reduce going into this binary event of earnings on Air. Now, the other pick that I chose last night on Wolf Financial Spaces of the Trade of the Week is DRIO. I did an analysis last night. I shared it in the VIP trading room of every time there's a MACD flip. You can see this red to green right here. Stock booms. Again, red to green, stock booms. Red to green, stock booms. Red to green, stock booms. It's an average of 25% over 5 days. And here we go, red to green. Okay, now that's just technicals, but we did have a catalyst yesterday. The catalyst was they met their goal of 100 contracts, so that's cool. So you have the catalyst, you have this particular signal on MACD. So I'm thinking, even though this particular cat wasn't so big, but I think there's the expectation there's going to be other catalysts out there. If you look at social media and if you listen to the signals management has given, we could have major catalysts in the next few weeks or next month in terms of another strategic partner, in terms of a Sanofi investment, in terms of the Aetna launch, right? So all of that anticipation over the next 5 days can maybe get the stock towards the 200 DMA possibility. So DRIO, I'm in it big, so I'm not adding. But, if you want to swing it, that's a fair thing to do. APPH, this is probably a garbage company. I did a little research on it. This is not something to hold more than a few days. A quick kind of day trade for me. I got in at like 67 cents yesterday, small size, holding for the possibility we break over the 20 DMA here and make it to the 50 DMA. I mean, there are catalysts, which is why I'm doing this trade in terms of the sale leaseback, in terms of the new chief operating officer, the high short position. But I haven't done my own analysis, but based on the analysis I've seen on social media, this company is going to need to raise a lot of money still, even with the massive sale leaseback of $127 million. They're still going to have to raise a lot of money here in the next quarter or two. So this is a very risky play, but possibility it does break above the 20 DMA, which is trying to do in pre-market, and make a move towards 50 DMA. So small size, high risk, high reward on APPH. I also want to note Blackstone was picked by another panelist last night on Wolf Financial Spaces. Very interesting chart, very volatile. Just a quick move to the 20 DMA would be significant. Well, no, not anymore. I mean, 74, it's already moved. Oh, because I'm missing a day of data. Okay, that's why. But, if it broke to like the 50 DMA, big move. But Chris has talked to us about this last night. They got some funding, $4 billion investment in their real estate fund where they were seeing some redemptions. So possibly an interesting play on BX. Then we got 3 more as we get to 9:15. Soon we'll have Vegas join us so we can bounce off a couple of her best ideas off her and get her best ideas. But here are the three swing plays we've been talking about. CTLP has been hitting all of our targets over the last couple of months. Next target 490 around the 200 DMA on CTLP, very strong. TBLA at this point broke our target of the 200-day moving average, and we kind of upgraded that to about 350 to $4 as a swing play, or you can wait for a pullback and get it to 200 DMA on TBLA. And what's driving that? Remember the Yahoo deal, great sentiment, 20-year deal, $1 billion a year in revenue. They upped their EPS forecast. LLAP, I sold this yesterday. We don't have the Tuesday. But this is one I may get again in pullbacks, possibly. You can see it's been generally going up. So we'll have to see. This is driven by the Lockheed Martin deal and just basically an oversold situation and coming back off of that. And they did have a catalyst of delivering like 10 satellites to Lockheed Martin, which is why I jumped in again. SMSI, just noting it was pretty strong yesterday, missing that data, unfortunately. So SMSI, but it's not anything to write home about yet, because if you look at the resistance levels, yeah, it's over the 50 DMA, but that's been a false signal. And if you go to the weekly, let's go to the weekly here. If you go to the weekly, you can see it's right at 20-week moving average resistance. Just one quick second. I want to make sure Vegas is able to get into her room. Okay, so she should be here soon. What else do we got here? Let's check our newsfeed. Man, XWEL at 32 cents the other day when I called it. That would have been great. I just did it for like a day trade. I held it the next morning. Didn't work out. I should have had more conviction to hold that for a swing from 32 now to 42 cents. All right, we'll check our newsfeed here to see if there's anything we missed in the last 15 minutes. Oh, CLF. We've been talking about CLF, Mobileye. All right, let's see what's going on. So CLF, $19 price target. We know the catalyst there recently where they said they secured pricing for steel at higher pricing in 2023 than they did for 2022 with lower input costs. So we've had our eye on CLF since, and now they get another catalyst with a $19 price target. So that's something to look into. Mobileye, WNC collaborate on imaging radar production. We have an AIR earnings preview. So all of the EV stocks were down yesterday, including Mobileye, and the catalyst for that was the lower deliveries from Tesla. So something to keep an eye on. Take a look at those charts. Like AIR, I think may be rolling over. So I did pull some back on that. All right, we're at 9:18. Vegas is a little bit late, so let me just check where she's at. Make sure she has no issues logging into our studio. All right, let's go. All right. So we're going to give Vegas a chance to get in here. And let's see if there's anything else we can review while we wait for her. You know what we'll do? Here's a cool thing we can do. We can order by price action, and that's obviously incorrect. Yeah, there's a lot of issues with TD today. So all of those values up there are incorrect. Oh, the other thing I didn't mention, China. Tony has been spot on. He's been very bullish China the last couple of days, and is like all into these KWeb and Baba, and he was telling us, and they did a big jump here. All of these Baba, JD, really exploding. So congratulations, Tony. There was an article I shared about Baba on this. And it was about some regulations. Here we go. Alibaba shares are trading higher following reports Chinese regulators approved a capital raise for Alibaba. That's not even the article I shared. Co-founder Jack Ma's Ant Group. That's another catalyst. But there was here we go. Alibaba stock is soaring. Why progress on a key headwind has investors buying? This is the article that was shared this morning about China's Banking Insurance Regulatory Commission approved Ant's request. No, that wasn't even it. There was another catalyst on regulation. It had to do with regulation in China, and that's why all the Chinese stocks were up. Okay. All right. Let's see if there's anything else we can be looking at here. Let's just look at the gold technicals while we wait. So gold over all the key moving averages, really gapping up this morning. That's 2 days of data that we're missing on Tuesday data again. Looking pretty good. Last night on Wolf Financial Spaces, there were a couple themes. There was very extreme bullishness for gold last night. there was people were very bearish on energy, and they were also very bearish on Apple. Pretty much universally, everyone was looking for like a $10 drop in Apple from here, which would take it close to 115. So that was the theme, kind of universal from the panel, and it's a really good panel, by the way. Really good track record, really good performance on their weekly picks. So, and I do have word here from Vegas, which is about to log in. So just hang on for that, and he'll probably take us close to the open. All right, let's see what else we can look at. So, gold and TLT, again, two things I may be wanting to add to our long-term portfolio as Tesla now ticks down. I wonder what Apple's doing. All right, Apple may be an opportunity to take some further short position on. And with that, we got joining us. Here we go. Vegas, you there?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you're having a good day so far. I
Good
am
morning.
loving China market. Looks so good today.
Awesome. I don't play China, but someone from our community, Tony, was on top of all the China stocks and that movement. Why don't you just tell us real quick, since I think it's the first time you're with us, a little bit about what you do in your community?
Yeah, so thank you so much for inviting me. Look forward to be part of the story trading community on a regular basis. My trading community is, a lot of day trades and momentum trades. Like we like to follow the money flow. And we also do, swing trades. And I really like long-term trades as well, because, not everyone has the time to day trade. So a lot of my community members work full time, or they're busy, like, parents, they take care of their kids, but they still want to trade and make an income. So they don't really want to day trade. They like to actually do some swing trades to have some additional income. So, try to cater and accommodate different styles of trading, because, there's so many different styles of trading out there for everyone. It's just a matter of what is the right fit for you. And it takes time to kind of figure out what people like. So I do like momentum trades, but sometimes I prefer swing trades because I find them less stressful. The only thing is, with swing trades, you have to be patient because it takes time for the moves to come. So it's sometimes a mixed bag. So it just depends what is a good fit for you as a trader. And then, with time, you kind of mix it up a little, or you stick to, a certain style that works for you. And you have to do what really works for you. Everyone can give you suggestions, but at the end of the day, you have to figure out like what works for you and what are you comfortable trading too, because you have to be comfortable. It is your capital. You are in charge of managing it. You are the one putting the risk management in the trades. So you have to obviously decide what's a good fit for your risk management and your risk tolerance.
Awesome. And, one of the reasons I connected with you, brought you on here, is because you do swing trades, you do some longer terms, but you look at fundamentals, you look at catalysts. You're really unique in that way, Vegas. So great job on that. So here's what we're looking at this morning. I'll just highlight some of the big caps. Obviously, everyone's looking at Apple, Meta, Microsoft. Interesting breakdown. I didn't see significant news other than a downgrade from an analyst. One downgrade. I don't know if you saw more. Tesla, obviously, very hard figuring out where the bottom is. So interested in hearing your feedback out of those big caps, which ones you like. I was kind of picking Meta long. I almost picked Meta long on Wolf Financial Spaces last night, but I had to make room for DRIO. The other thing I want to mention to you is Clearfield, which is a huge, very popular stock in our community that's done very well for us. They had a catalyst this morning. Cowen coming in with a $141 price target. They have earnings in 3 weeks, and we're expecting it to be a blowout. You can see the stock gapping up 6%. So definitely would love your take on Clearfield. And the last one I'll throw your way is DRIO microcap. I love it. My largest position, MACD flip. I did an analysis on here, and the last 5 times it had a MACD flip. On average, it went up 25% in 5 days. So that's what we got for you. If there's any of those that connect with you you'd like to comment on, great. And then we'd love to hear if you have a pick or two for us today.
Yeah, so first of all, I know you talked about Meta. I will say yesterday I found Meta kind of resilient in the market because there's a lot of chop going on. Obviously, we have the FOMC minutes coming out today. So considering that was, obviously a catalyst for the market, I found that Meta held its weight yesterday. So it did have a really nice pocket pivot. I kind of see the Bollinger Band squeezing. And actually for today in particular, I'm looking for a continuation on Meta because I did mention to my community that they might want to swing Meta considering it was holding up very, very well. If you could see
relative
here,
strength yesterday.
yeah, very nice strength considering some of these other ones were kind of choppy. I did mention to the community that if they were not in Meta, because not, like I said, not everyone's comfortable swing trading, so I totally understand. So if nobody was in Meta, that definitely the level to watch for today is a break over 127. So we're not trading over that yet. We're around 126.52ish, 126 bid asks here 126.71. So if it breaks 127 today, then I think that's a good trigger, a good spot to consider it, and has room to about like 128.55, 128.90. I would definitely not like this to go below 123.50. So that would be like the stop zone if I was, let's say, day trading it. So definitely Meta. And then you mentioned, what was the other one you mentioned? The
Clearfield?
Yeah, what's the ticker on that one? What is it? Sorry?
CLFD.
CLFD? Oh, okay, CLFD.
Yeah.
I've never traded that one. When I look at the chart here, it kind of had like an outside day. And I think they have earnings, right, in a couple weeks, I think on Jan 25. So it had an outside day. So definitely looking for that range expansion today. I think long term, this is definitely looking really nice, a nice setup. So I know you're probably having this as a swing trade. So I like the fact that it had an outside day yesterday, and looking for this to obviously make its move. Let me just see like what's it trading at right now. Whoops. All right.
We're at 95. Can you see my screen? I got it up on my screen.
Yeah, 95. What do you got? 95.50 there?
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice move there, actually, on that one. So like when I look at the weekly chart, this has a nice levels here. And I can't wait for this to get over 99.86, which is that 21 EMA on the weekly chart. Once it breaks that, I think you'll easily head towards that $100. $100 would be a resistance break. Excuse me, I'm just fighting a cold. But if you can break that 100.42, which is the 8 EMA, that'll look really nice. Like I think there'll be some good movement because I especially like there's a lot of traders out there that love trading like $100 stocks, but they're not going to touch it until it breaks the 100. So I think yeah, so it's really interesting to analyze and watch even like $10 stocks. Anything that's getting close to $10, there's what they call the $10 traders, and they wait for the $10 to break, and then once it breaks, they're like jumping in there. So it's very interesting to just observe, even if you're not in a trade, like to observe those levels. But definitely, I really look forward to seeing this Clearfield. I'm not in the trade, but definitely if it can break that 99.86, this is going to look really pretty, really nice. I mean, it's had a lot of selling over the last few weeks. So definitely it looks like it wants to head towards the 99.86, and it is holding beautifully over this 84.90 level, which is the 55 EMA. And usually like institutional investors like to trade around the 55.65 EMA level. So it's holding up very nicely over that level. So really looking to see a continuation here, and it's had a nice move today. So looking to see how this plays out for you.
Cool. Awesome. All right. We're 2 minutes till the open. So unless there's any last comments, I think we got a jet.
Yeah, just want to say, China stocks gapped up. So BABA's a great play. If anyone's interested in looking at BABA for even for day trade, I mean, I love BABA. I have BABA swing trade in play for March 2023, $100 call. But BABA's a great trade. If it can break $99 today, it's very nice day trade. Stop loss would be 95.50 below that. But if it breaks 99, has room to that 100. And remember I talked about
key. Look at this. It's over the 50-week MA here and over the 200 DMA.
Yeah, it's over the 200-day. And that's what I love about the BABA setup. It's an A+ setup. I love it over 200-day. Such an important level. And watch if it breaks the $100. Remember we talked about the $100 just a minute ago. So if it breaks the $100, could easily head towards 101, 102.50, 103.49 potential is the max that I see on this today. Unless of course it surprises us with more stuff. But beautiful, beautiful weekly chart. So definitely love this for not just a day trade, but even for a swing trade. So, I think the China market's getting slammed because they comment about, people coming in from China, they got to do COVID test and all that. But you know what? China has good opportunities down the road. So definitely watch BABA over that $99
Awesome.
mark.
Great insights today, Vegas. Appreciate it. Where can people follow you?
Yeah, if they want to follow me on Twitter, they can follow me at ILUV Stocks 1, the number 1. And they can follow me there, or I have my website, I Love Stocks, ILUVstocks.com. And anyone can message me. I'm happy to answer people. And we're all about working together and helping people grow. So look forward to being with you guys again. Really appreciate being with Story Trading and you guys, Ben. So really appreciate it.
Awesome. Sounds good, Vegas. Have a great trading day. We'll see everyone else at 4 p.m. for post-market wrap and 4:30 for our Zoom event. We'll look at earnings from RELL, RELL. All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, everyone.